Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, welcome to the video lectures of Control Engineering, module number 3, Time Response Analysis. In that time response analysis part 2, today we will see how we can solve the time response analysis for a closed loop control system. Okay, or closed loop. Or simply you can call it as the closed mechanism of your loop pole system or loop system of first order system. Okay, so in my previous video lecture we have studied what is first order system and how to study the first order system for the transient analysis. Now today in this video lecture we will see closed loop poles of the first order system. Now always remember, we usually find the poles in the numerator. Okay, poles are in numerator, this we know. Okay, and the zeros are, okay, zeros is obtained in, sorry, the poles are obtained in denominator. Okay, denominators. Okay, and the zeros are done in the numerators. This is the identification of your any transfer function, always remember. Now this is the transfer function here, where C of S is output, R of S is input. That is called output divided by input is equal to G of S divided by 1 plus G of S into H of S. So in this equation, the denominator part of this equation is called as poles. The numerator is called as zeros. Okay, so this is pole and this is zero. So based on this poles and the zero format here, okay, so we will try to analyze, or we will try to study what are the basic concepts of the first order systems and what do you mean by the characteristic equation. Okay, so here we can define the characteristics equation as the equation which gives poles of the system is called as characteristics equation. Now in this equation the denominator is called as poles. Okay, so therefore if you take this 1 plus or minus G of S into H of S is equal to 0, taking the denominator of the given transfer function and equating it to 0, such type of equation is known as characteristics equation. Okay, which is given by 1 plus G of S into H of S is equal to 0, or even you can write it as 1 minus G of S into H of S is equal to 0. Okay, so this is your characteristics equation. Now for the first order system, for this particular equation is also first order in the general form. Okay, and this is given by 1 plus Ts is equal to 0. Okay, now in this first order system, if I make my H of S is equal to 1, okay, and this G of S, okay, which is equal to T, or if I take only T and if I equate it to 0, then the order of the system will always is nothing but gives you the first order, that too in the general format, or simply you can write it as 1 plus Ts is equal to 0. This will give you the first order system. Now once we speak about the closed loop poles, in the sense you need to go for finding the roots of the characteristics equation. Okay, so whenever you take the closed loop system and if you try to find the roots of the characteristics equation, okay, such that the first order in only the first order system, okay, there will be only one closed loop pole, always remember. Okay, so if anyone asks you how many number of poles are there in a first order system, then the number of poles in the first order system will be always equal to or only one. Okay, it is only equal to 1, and where they will lie, they will lie on the left hand side of your S plane, and this pole is given by 1 divided by T. Okay, so here you can see, if you go for calculation of 1 plus Ts and finding the value of S from this equation, how you can find the value of S from this particular equation here is, okay, so Ts is equal to minus 1. Okay, then what is S is equal to? So S is equal to minus 1 divided by T. So this is my pole, and always S will represent your poles in the that too it should be in the denominator. Okay, so this is how we go for finding the poles, and in first order the number of poles will be equal to 1. Okay, will be equal to 1. So this is how we go for finding the poles of the any given transfer function. Now, apart from that, here you can see the poles of the transfer function can be represented on the S-plane. Okay, so if I consider this figure here is my S-plane, okay, if this figure is my S-plane, then this part on the real side of the part, we call it as right side. We call it as right side of S-plane. Okay, and here it is called as left side of S-plane. Left side of S-plane. This is how we go for identification. Okay, so right part of the S-plane and the left side of the S-plane. And how and where this pole is represented on the left side, you can see if it is a cross mark, always remember we represent the cross mark as my pole representation. Okay, so if you and for zeros we put it into the circle, we put it into circle. Okay, if I draw a circle, it becomes my 0. So as in this given equation the number of poles are only 1, I have just cross marked at minus 1 divided by t. Okay, so similarly here in this particular problem, the value of closed loop poles appears as an exponential index in the transient output. Obviously it is 1 divided by t, and what is the value of t? The value of t is nothing but it is RC. Okay, what we have seen in the above concept. So 1 divided by t is nothing but, or simply you can take it as the value of minus 1 divided by t, or you can write it as 1 by RC. Okay, it is 1 divided by RC, gives you the exponential value. Okay, it gives you the exponential index, exponential graph. Okay, so therefore in the given considering the system whatever we have considered, and the pole is at S is equal to minus 1 divided by RC, and what is the output for that particular system? Here is C of t is equal to 1 minus e raised to minus t divided by RC for the above electrical network. Okay, so based on that particular electrical network of first order system, here we can see for this particular electrical network, if your input is your step signal, that is 1 divided by S, and for that particular value of 1 by S, if your value of t is equal to RC, and if you analyze the given system, you can see there is an exponential index which is increasing value given by this graph. It is increasing value, it gives you the exponential increase value, and for that particular closed loop function we get exponential index which is denoted by 1 divided by RC. Okay, now for example if I consider the two systems, okay, with which is like your closed loop pole, okay, having at minus 2, and another pole is at S2 is equal to minus 4. Okay, consider a system which has two poles, one pole that is S1 is equal to minus 2, and another pole which is at S2 is equal to minus 4. You can see the minus symbol here. Based on that particular minus symbol we try to represent. Okay, so therefore this is how we index the values of poles. And what is the output for that particular poles? The output will of the two systems will be, one will be your exponential of e raised to minus 2t for the first system, and for the another system, for the another pole we write it as e raised to minus 4t in the second system. Okay, so therefore this is how we go for writing the values for the given poles. Okay, therefore the conclusion here for the closed loop poles is the closed loop poles or the location of the closed loop poles affect the transient response. More the number of poles, your exponential will change. Less the number of poles, your exponential will be in the limit. Okay, based on the number of poles, it can be 1 pole, it can be 2 pole, it can be 3 pole, or it can be n poles. Okay, so based on that poles you can define your transient response behavior. That is what we need to study here. Okay, and what is the key point says? A key point here is a closed loop poles moves in the left half of the array. That is what I have shown in the above figure, left side of the S plane. Okay, it moves left of the left half of the plane away from the imaginary axis in the S plane. and transient dies out more quickly, making the system more stable. Okay, so our condition is that in the control system, the system should be as stable as it should be. It should not become unstable if there is a small change in the input of the input signal. Okay, so this is how we study the closed loop effect of the poles, okay, on the transient behavior or on the transient response. This is how we see here. Okay, now similarly, if you consider one problem here, okay, the problem here is they have taken one simple first order system. Okay, you need to sketch R of t and C of t and show the steady state error. So what is R of t? What is C of s divided by R of s? For the one pole, the standard formula is 1 divided by s plus t. And what is the input they have asked? The input is given by R of t, which is nothing but your ramp, unit ramp. Okay, it is a unit ramp. So therefore, R of t is equal to unit ramp, input is equal to t. Okay, so what is R? I have already told you that if it is a ramp, it should be 1 divided by s square. If it is a parabola, it should be 1 divided by s cube. If it is only unit impulse, it is 1 by s. So in the question, they have asked the ramp, so therefore it is 1 divided by s square. Now, if the input to the ramp has some amplitude a, then we write it as a divided by s square. Okay, so therefore, as it is a ramp, we try to apply input here. Okay, so what is R of s now? It is 1 by s square. Substitute the value of R of s square in this equation. So if you substitute the R of s, it becomes C of s divided by 1 divided by s square. So s square will go in the numerator. So it becomes s square into C of s is equal to 1 by s into t. So if this s square will come in the denominator on the left hand side, it becomes 1 divided by s square into s plus t. Okay, s plus t. Now let us go for separating these values, or just a concept of your partial fraction. So it is a divided by s square plus b divided by s plus c divided by s plus t, because this is a quadratic equation of a power of 2. So whenever there is a power of 2, we have some 3 variables. Okay, now find all the values of a, b and c using the partial fraction. If you want to find the value of this a, then you should make the value of b and c is equal to 0. This we know, right? So therefore, this the denominator and denominator, if they get cancels or equated it to the denominator or equated to denominator, then we get only this one. So what answer we get here at the last here is a into s plus t plus b into s plus t plus c into s square is equal to 1. Okay, so therefore this is a common term, so therefore we can write it as b plus s square, or this is bs square plus bts, okay, cs square plus as into t. So b and c has a square term, so therefore b plus c into s square plus a plus bt multiplied by s, just like s square terms one side, s one times, and independent of terms one time. So at is equal to 1. So therefore, just by this problem here, so at is equal to 1. So therefore, what is the value of a? A is equal to 1 by t. You can see here. Okay, so a plus bt is equal to 0, because this is falling under, because this is the ramp. You should remember that table for ramp. Okay, for that particular table for ramp, that is it will come all the other, either it can be 0 or it can be infinity. So therefore 8 plus bt is equal to 0. What is the value of b? A is equal to how much? 1 by t, right? Substitute the value of a here. So what is bt? Bt is equal to 1 by t square. And similarly for b plus c, again is equal to 0. So I will get the value of c is equal to 1 by t square. What is it? Because b is equal to 1 by t square. So substitute all these a, b, c in this particular formula, you will get c of s. Now this c of s is in the time domain, s domain or Laplace domain. Convert this Laplace domain into time domain, taking by inverse Laplace. So ct is basic is equal to, so 1 by t into t minus 1 by t square, okay, plus 1 divided by t square, because this is a s square term here, so we write it as exponential of minus r into t. So this is the graph for this particular equation. Okay, so in this way we go for finding the solutions for any given problem.